Me begin. Uh, so this being, let me start my presentation with screen sharing. You're able to see the screen?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yes. Then now it is in full screen mode. Yeah. Okay. Uh, you see some photographs on your screen. On there are 5 photographs. This is something unusual. We'll be talking about this. All of them are peculiar in their own fashion. So this is about some photographs, some unique villages in India. Let's just begin the session. I'll be talking about Shiny Shignapur in Maharashtra, Jumbar village in Gujarat, Kuldhara in Rajasthan, Mathur in Karnataka, Melong in Mahihalaya, Barwan in Bihar, Unsari, Gujarat, Hiware Bazar, Maharashtra, Kod- Kodinhi, Kerala, Ringdoi, Assam, Korali, Maharashtra, Shet, Shetpal, Maharashtra, and Madhopatti, the officers' village of India. Then Gamhar in UP, village of Jawans. This is about the villages. Then about the unusual places. Sri Kanot Rai Mata Mandir, Rajasthan. Karni Mata Mandir, Rajasthan. Om Banna Temple, again Rajasthan. Kal Bhairav Temple, Madhya Pradesh. Sulabh International Museum, New Delhi. Hazrat Kamar Ali Darshev Shrine in Maharashtra. And lastly, Nidhavan Temple, Vrindavan, UP. So we'll go through firstly about the unique villages. Shani Shignapur, it's in Nevasa Taluk, Ahmednagar district, about 35 kilometers from Ahmednagar and 70 kilometers from Shirdi. Population is about 3,000. The uniqueness of this village is there are no doors or locks in any house, including post offices and banks. Only door you find only door frames, and no theft is reported in the known history of the village, except for 2 incidents in 2010 and 2011, where they found out that is a person inside the house. I mean, the family member has done only the theft, not the outsider. That is the track record. Then, how it is happening? They have strong belief that Bhagavan Shani Dev protects them. Okay, I will come to that temple later. This is about that village. The first photograph you have seen. You can find only the door frames on the photograph. Even windows also there are no doors. Only frames are there with some grill. So this is about uniqueness. Why this is happening is once it happened, it is known as Jagrati Devasthan. That's Swayambhu Shani Maharaj. Once a shepherd accidentally hit a rock, pointed rock, and it seems that rock started bleeding, not the person. And they say, and he ran to the village and told, "This is happening. That rock is bleeding, and nothing happened to me." That day night, he had a dream, and there, wherein the Shani Maharaj told him, "It is I am there in that rock form. Do worship me every Saturday without fail." So the villagers pulled out that rock and installed it on a raised platform. And it was instructed that no temple should be constructed. It's an open area. So that is the history of this place. And they believe that he protects them from thefts. The entire village protects. So this is about the details of that. And interestingly, male devotees only are allowed to perform abhishekam themselves, and females were allowed from 2016 onwards. Only ladies were allowed to visit the temple, Lord, to the abhishek. This is the around 30,000 devotees visit the temple every day. About this temple, about this shrine, about 5 feet 9 inches tall, 1.5 feet wide, black rock, as I told you, it's installed on a open air platform. And this is that Shani Maharaj idol. And Lord, as you know, Shani Maharaj is worshipped on Saturdays, and Shani Trayodasi is very, very famous all over. And there are many Shani temples in India, but this is the only place where it is without any temple or any construction. It is in the open area. Next, we move to Jambur village. It's a village in Junagadh district, located around 68 near Gir Forest National Park, 68 kilometers from district headquarters Junagadh and 370 kilometers from Gandhinagar. Jumbar is known for the home for centuries to members of African origin Siddhi tribe. They look like Africans but speak Gujarati, and by birth they're Indians. Population is about 5,000. This is how they look like. And this is a closer photograph of some of the boys. If you see only the show the photograph, you will definitely say they're not in India, but they are in India in Gujarat. And they speak Gujarati only. This is another unique village. Then we'll move to Kuldhara, the haunted village. Kuldhara is located about 18 kilometers from Jaisalmer city. The village is located on 861 meter by 261 meter rectangular site aligned in north-south direction. The township is centered around the temple of Mother Goddess. Kuldhara was established in the 13th century. Till it was then a very prosperous village inhabited by Paliwal Brahmins. But what happened is it was abandoned in early 19th century. Before that, the population was around 1588 in 400 house in the 18th century. But by 19th century, it dropped down to 37 people. The reason for evacuation is there are three versions. One, water scarcity. Number two, earthquake threats of earthquakes. And number three, the most popular one is the village sarpanch was threatening the villagers to send their girls to him.
My goodness.
So, yes. So at one time, they decided, let us not yield to this fellow's demand, unwarranted demands. They they vacated the entire village. And now it is like this. This is the photograph of the village as of now. This is on the right hand side, top corner, you can see the temple. And these are all now, because since 19th century, it is left like that. So this is what is remained there as of now. But the reasons are very, very peculiar. Then we'll move to Mathur, the Sanskrit village. All of us should be very, very proud of this village. Mathur or Madhur is a village in Shimoga district in Karnataka. It is known for usage of Sanskrit for day-to-day communication, even though official language is Kannada. Even the housemaid or the servants or even the dhobi, they speak only Sanskrit. They can speak Sanskrit. And there is another village, a twin village, Oshahalli, has the same qualities of Mathur. They are on the either side of a river bank, river Tunga. These two villages are almost referred together. It's not just one village. And as I told you, every village population is around 5,000, and there is a software engineers from every village, from every house. And only literacy rate is 70%. Those who are literates, they learn Vedas from the age of 10 itself. As I told you, one software engineer in every family. This is there's people learning Vedas. This is the village photograph, one of the streets of this village. And earlier I told you, all of us should be able to speak Sanskrit because that is the mother of all languages, not only just our Indian languages. But unfortunately, yes, we'll not go into that. That's a totally different subject. We'll be off the track. Then Malvin Nong, the cleanest village of the world, actually, of Asia rather. It's a village in East Khasi district in Meghalaya. I visited this place. It is simply superb. It's 90 kilometers from Shillong, close to Indo-Bangla border. It's known as God's own garden. And population is just 500. And every house they can host somebody. If you have somebody who wants to stay back overnight in that village, yes, there are so many people to host you, of course, for some on some nominal charges. Then another attraction is the living root bridges. I visited them. I will show you the photograph. The Khasi tribe is the biggest attraction of this village because the children inherit the mother's property. The properties are all held by the ladies of the house, and it is passed on to their daughters, not to the son. And there, the men fight for the equal rights. It's the other way around in the other part of the country. This is the village photograph. It's not an exaggeration. It is as good as this in reality also. I have visited this place maybe around 4 or 5 years back. And this is the Living Root Bridge. This is one sample photograph, but there are so many. This is at a much lower level. There are so many at a much higher level. We stepped at least about 100 feet up than on one of the bridges. Then we'll move to Barwankala, village of bachelors. This is in Bihar. It is located in Tehsil Adhura of Kaimur district in Bihar. Minimum 3 hours trekking, then walk 5 kilometers if you want to reach that place. It is punishment. That is the reason no girl wants to marry a person from that village. Absolutely no village, no electricity, no post office, no hospital. Only 4 bore wells. That too, they dry up in summer. It has more than 150 bachelors in the age group from 18 to 80. Oh, there are no marriage took place in 50 years because of lack of basic infrastructure facility. Today, as I told you, today no girl wants to go to that village. But that record is broken in 2017. Finally, they welcomed a bride after 50 years. This is around population is around 3,000. These are the unfortunate guys, or I should say fortunate guys, if you don't mind. And this is the approach road, or whatever you call it. This is how they go up to reach the village. Then next we'll move to Punsari, the most modern village. This is something unique. Punsari is a village located in Sabarkantha district, Gujarat, around 80 kilometers from capital Gandhinagar, 20 kilometers from Parvati Hills. Parvati Hills, all of you know, is the largest tabletop of India, Plateau. Population is around 6,000 in 2014. Now it must be around 8,000. A 6.6 kV substation supplies power to the entire village. Normally, we have step-down transformer of 440 volts for our domestic supplies, but there they have installed a 6.6 kV substation. Then entire village is Wi-Fi enabled and CC cameras are installed all over the village. Every home has its own toilets too, and there are 2 primary schools, a primary health center, street lighting, and a completely underground water drainage system. I forgot that word, underground. Yeah. Then 140 loudspeakers are there in the entire village for the announcement to be heard by all the people. The announcements are made by the Sarpanch. Every village is covered with Mediclaim policy and general insurance. And no dropouts from the schools, 0 dropouts. Then an RO plant is installed which supplies 20 liters of water can for 4 rupees. How this is possible? The man behind that show is Himanshu Patel. He was Sarpanch from 2006 to 2014, and he made the dramatic changes. In his own words, I just copied from his words. When I took over, there was nothing in the village. And he says that village council, they have spent about 14 crore rupees on development schemes in 8 years of his tenure. And he humbly says, he has not taken anything out of the box. He just implemented the government schemes that was announced religiously without any room for corruption. It is his honesty and dedication that made this village unique. This is the person who is responsible for the development of that village. Next one is again another one. Hiware Bazar, the richest village in India. Hiware Bazar is the village in Ahmednagar in Maharashtra. It is famous for its irrigation system and water conservation program, with which it has fought drought and drinking water problems. The 1972, people migrated to other places. You see the year 1972, recently, I mean, just 50 years back. 72 is, we are supposed to be in well-developed nation by that time. And in 1990, Mr. Popatrao Baguji Pawar, he was elected as Sarpanch. And in 2020, government has recognized and awarded Padma Shri for him for his devotion and commitment and the work, developmental work he has shown there. In 1995, 168 out of 182 families were below poverty line. That means even after 5 years after he is taken over, that was the condition at that time. Then by 2010, in another five years, there is dramatic improvement. Only 3 families are below poverty line out of 168, and there are 60 millionaires. Then the milk production has increased from 50 liters per day in 1990 to 4,000 liters per day in 2020. In 2017, received a national award for community-led water conservation. Again, the dedication, hard work, of course. And another interesting thing, zero mosquito village. If you know the life cycle of a mosquito, it breeds every 14 days. So if you today you spread the medicine to kill the mosquitoes, again you have to repeat it after 15 days to ensure there is no more new mosquitoes, no mosquitoes are born or grown. So that means they taken care to that extent. They declare, I mean, they declare it as a zero mosquito village. And here is the gentleman, Popatrao Baguji Pawar. He has installed the drip irrigation system, water conservation for the conservation part of it. And he advised the villagers not to grow sugarcane and banana where high water content requirement is there. Then rainwater harvesting, digging trenches around the hills contours to trap for catchment of water, afforestation, that means growing plants, and building of percolation tanks for storage of water, or so that the Mother Earth absorbs the water, every drop of water in the form of rains. Then there is strict ban on liquor. Adoption of family planning is religiously done. And more interestingly, HIV/AIDS test is compulsory before marriage. And Shamadan by each and every villager is mandatory. He ensured all this and he has given those results. Here is the gentleman holding flowers. You see, if you look at these two sarpanches, they are definitely the role models. All the villages across India should follow this. They not done anything great. They just followed what is the government schemes and implementation of the schemes religiously without corruption and with high commitment. These two are required. Then we'll move to Kodinhi, village of twins. There is a village in Malappuram district of Kerala. Village about 35 kilometers south of Calicut and 30 kilometers west of Malappuram. There are at least 400 pairs of twins, 2 sets of triplets in the village with a population of 2,000 families. Well, the national average is 9 in 1,000 twins, birth of twins, 9 in 1,000 births. This place records 45 in 1,000, which is the highest ever anywhere in the world. The oldest known is couple twins are born in 1949. 2008, about 30 pairs of twins along with their parents got together to form the Twins and Kins Association, the first of such association of twins in India. What the doctors say, the chemicals present in the water cause this birth of twins. So there is a photograph of some of them, not all. Close-up view of some of the kids. See, it's interesting to see this place. Then we'll move to Rangdoi village, frogs are married to please Varun god and receive rains. It's a village in Morongi Tehsil, Golaghat district of Assam. About 20 kilometers from the district headquarters and 248 kilometers from state capital Dispur. You see, the common belief there is if the frogs are married in the same fashion with all the rituals of an Indian of a marriage, Hindu marriage, and leave them in a small pond or in a well for to live together, rains will happen. That was the common belief. It is not just at this place. There are other places in India that the marriage of frogs takes place in Nagpur and Thakatpur village in Bilaspur district of Chhattisgarh and Madhya Bargari village in Bengal. Actually, see, we have some common beliefs. It's, especially in Andhra, what we do. Suppose there's a marriage function tomorrow, let us say, and you have a fear of heavy cloud form today. The marriage has to happen tomorrow, and the parents of the daughter of the bride, they pray to sun god, please avoid rain for tomorrow. We will offer you some prasad. That's a specific prasad. And believe me, I am the eyewitness. My brother's daughter's marriage, it same thing happened, and my sister-in-law uh, prayed to God, please let the function go smoothly. We will offer you some prasad. And next day, even though there were heavy clouds and heavy rain one day before, next day it all cleared up. So there are faiths we have to believe because I am believing because I have seen it literally. So the same thing should be happening when they marry these frogs also. So these are the different photographs of different places, not at the same place. Maybe I don't know which location it is. You see, they're tied together, and of course, this is the marriage function. They're making them to kiss each other. The bride and bridegroom of frogs are kissing each other here. That is the photograph. Next, we move to Corley. Villagers speak Portuguese. Indian villagers speaking Portuguese. It is around 117 kilometers south of Mumbai on the national highway, state highway, sorry, 104, and 24 kilometers from Alibag via state highway 91. The nearest railway station is Roha, about 42 kilometers. This place is more known for this fort. It's a Portuguese fort. It is about 42 kilometers from this railway station. The village is in the mouth of Kundalika River, across from the ruins of a large, as I told you, the Portuguese fort. The villagers speak Indo-Portuguese, a Creole language, and population is around 1,000 in 1998. So these are the people, youth of the village, and this is the overall view of the aerial view of the village. They speak Portuguese also. Next, we'll move to Shetpal. Snakes are family members. Normally, people get scared of snakes. Here, this particular village in Mohol Tehsil of Sholapur district, snakes are family members. It's around 200 kilometers from Pune. Their snakes are worshipped daily in their heart and the home of this village in every house. Cobras are welcomed in every house as a member of the family, and neither the cobras nor the people are scared of each other. Normally, snakes run away when they see people talking or there was some sort of disturbance to them. They move away. But here, it's the opposite. In every house, there's a separate place identified exclusively for the resting place for these cobras, and they come and go as they wish. And another interesting thing is somebody is planning to construct a new house. They invariably ensure a specific corner is hollow portion is left behind as a devasthanam for the snakes, for the resting place for the snakes. And they're like pets. And this you find snakes walking into the classrooms of the school. So here some of the photographs. You see a small kid. Normally, even elders get scared of snakes. You see this girl, small girl, sitting next to the two big snake cobras. And here one more, even smaller kids. And here another lady worshipping her cobra. So this is another something unique about this place. Then Madhopatti, the officers' village of India. This is in UP. It is in Janpur district of UP, and it has a history of producing the most number of IAS officers. With about 75 households, it has given 47 officers for the IAS, Indian administration. Who could not get IAS, they have taken up jobs in ISRO, BAC, that is Baba Atomic and Research Center, and World Bank. It's a village recently broke. Acha, 4 brothers from the same house, they were selected for IAS, which is the all-time record. Probably anywhere it may not be there. And one of them has rose to the level of chief secretary, maybe the eldest brother. This is the village. If you see this village, you won't feel that that village can produce this type of people. Of course, actually, this is the wrong photograph. I forgot to take it. There are IAS officers, but here what you are seeing is IPS officers. It's my mistake. Then Ghamar, village of soldiers, is located in Ghaziabad district of UP with a population of 1 lakh. There is a soldier either in service or retired in every house of this. So according to the Bhutpur Sainik Seva Samiti, that is Indian Ex-Servicemen Society, this village has close to 15,000 men from this village who are in active service. 10,000 retired and returned back to the village. And they have witnessed all the wars, 1962, 1965, 1971, and of course the last one, the Kargil war. This is the village photograph, and these are the soldiers. Of course, not the same from the same village, but photograph of the soldiers. From here, we'll now move to, actually, there are many more villages. I have picked up only this. And now we'll move to some of the unusual places. It is again, I would like to, before I start this presentation, I would like to tell, it is the individual's belief, whether such things are really happening or not. It is left to the person, individual's perspective. There's nothing to comment. You can't hurt others' sentiments. That's my principle. This is only for information I'm giving you this. Sri Tanoti Rai Mata Mandir, temple maintained by Border Security Force. Goddess Awadh, daughter of Mamadiya Charan. She is not in India, she is in Pakistan, this temple. And Goddess Awadh is known as Tanoti Rai Mata. She is in India, around 125 kilometers from Jaisalmer and 20 kilometers from Pakistan border. Temperature shoots up to 50, in summer it is 50 degrees, in winter it is 0 degrees. After Indo-Pak War of 1965, BSF has taken over and manning and maintenance of this temple. Reasons I will explain you. Again, after 1972 war, Indo-Pak War, BSF constructed Vijay Memorial at the entrance of the temple. In 1989, a trust is established by BSF to take care of the total manning and financial aspects of the temple. 16 December, a major festival is celebrated. Okay, now coming to the background. During Indo-Pak War of 1965, Pakistan has shelled around 3,000 bombs in this area, in this village, Tanot village, to occupy the Indian post of Tanot. First, and out of the 3,000, 450 bombs landed very close to this temple, but strangely, none of the bombs exploded. There is no scientific reasoning why those bombs were not exploded. It is again belief that Tanoti Mata is protecting them. And these Jawans, they have given a declaration. You can see on the YouTube's videos. They never believed that they will come out of that, they will be able to survive that attack of Pakistan at that moment in 1965. So once this, they could, because the bombs have not exploded, they could retaliate the fire and uh, safeguard the post at that time. Then again, 1972, very close to this Tanot, is Longawal post. Again, it is manned by 120 army men with one's commander. I forgot, sorry, I don't remember the rank of the person, but and one night, if you see again, a battalion of Pakistan army with the number of tanks attacked this post. Probably if you recall Border Cinema movie, it is picturized based on this 1972 Indo-Pak War of Longawal post. Again, what happened was, the actual reality, what happened is, in army, there are different tactics to avoid confuse the enemy. So in that process, they have constructed a barbed wire along the border, close to the post. The tank, I mean, not very close to the post, little away from the post, that you have seen in the movie also. Normally, they do it whenever there are landmines are installed. So that gives an impression to the enemy that landmines are there. If they cross that barbed wire, the landmines will explode and the tanks get destroyed. So all the tanks of Pakistan stayed back behind the barbed wire and they not moved forward. Next day morning, of course, our Indian Air Force came with their bombers and smashed all those tanks. Even that the commander, he was able to retaliate the fire and other things. Of course, that you have seen in the movie, but the actual reality is this. And they feel that Tanoti Matas has put an impression in the minds of the enemy. If you cross the barbed wire, the tanks will explode. They stayed back. Had they come forward, probably it would have been a different story. So that is the reason, after that war is over, they built this Vijay Memorial at the entrance of the temple, and they have renovated the entire temple and started manning the temple, including Harati. The songs are sung by, songs and instruments are played by the Jawans of BSF, and any vehicle passing by the temple towards the border, they invariably stop there to seek the blessings of the Mata and then proceed forward. So these are some of the photographs I will show you. This is the entrance to the temple. Yeah. And this is she is Tanoti Rai Mata, main idol in the temple. And now here, some of the photographs. This is that Vijay Memorial that is constructed after 1972 war. And these are the unexploded bombs. They are kept in the temple premises in some museum sort of thing. Only some of them I'm showing. There are 450 bombs all over the temple complex, live bombs. Now, of course, displayed there. You can see here, Mateshwari Tanoti Rai Ke Chamatkar. That's what is written here. And these are the soldiers, BSF soldiers, singing Aarti in the afternoon time. And this is, they're serving food to the devotees, army Jawans. They, after their duty is over, they come over here and then do this. It's not that they're off duty, they avoid their duties and then do this. Apart from the regular duties, this is the additional job they're doing there. Then we'll move to another temple, another equally interesting temple, Karni Mata, Deshnak, Rajasthan. Karni Mata is believed to be incarnation of Tanot Rai Mata. Just now we discussed that. Karni Mata temple is built in 17th century, an unique temple located 30 kilometers from Bikaner. This temple is home to over 25,000 rats called Kabbas. It is believed that Kabbas are reincarnated family members of Karni Mata. There's a small story behind this. I will just briefly tell. Karni Mata married one of the kings, but she is not interested in that married life. So he asked the king to marry his sister so that he don't lose the pleasure of married life. So the king marries his Karni Mataji's sister, and they had a son. They are blessed with a son. And that son accidentally falls into a river or stream and he dies. Karni Mata then takes his dead body, goes into the small temple over there and prays. After some time, it is believed that this boy was alive. Since then, she is worshipped as a great Mata, and that's how that's the story. And they also believe that a rat also is born along with came to life along with this boy. So that is the reason they don't harm the rats. They allow them to stay in the temple. That is the actual reason for that temple. Okay. Now, while so anybody entering the temple, they don't walk the way normally we know. One step by step, we don't walk. They don't walk. They drag their feet on the floor so that they don't hurt any of these frogs moving around freely. Sorry, rats all around the temple, all over the temple complex. And by mistake, if they step onto them, they have to gift the god a silver or a gold rat statue and offer it to temple for the sin they have committed. These are the photographs. Rats taking milk and rats all over places. And another interesting thing, the most important thing is these leftover, whatever is eaten by the rats, the leftover thing is offered as prasad to the devotees. Since 17th century, there is not a single case of food poisoning reported after consuming this from the temple, which from the offer what is given by the pandit from the temple. Nor there is an outbreak of plague or anything for over centuries in that area. Om Banna Temple, Chotila village. Bullet Baba Temple or Om Banna Temple is an unusual temple located near Chotila village, Pali district between Jodhpur and Pali. It is located 20 kilometers from Pali and 50 kilometers from Jodhpur on the highway near Chotila village. Okay, what happened is on 2nd December 1991, Om Banna, later his name is changed, but his original name is Om Singh Rathore. He was traveling on his bullet and he's going to Chotila, but on the way he lost control of this bullet and hits a tree. He dies there on the spot. So the police come. Naturally, they seize the vehicle. They take it to the police station. They kept it in the police station, which is a few kilometers away from this place. And they registered the case and all. That is a different part of it. Then next day morning, when they were looking for the bike, that bullet, it was missing from the police station. It was not there in the compound. So then they started searching for this bullet and they found it at the same place at the accident site. It was they were puzzled, but then they said some fellow made a trick with them in the night. So they brought back the bike again, kept it in the police station. This time they removed all the petrol from the petrol tank so that nobody can drive it away. Again, the third day morning, same thing happened. The bike was missing. It was again found at the same place at the site of accident. It happened 3-4 times. Then this police they left the bike at that place itself, and people started worshipping that, and also that particular tree which this Rathore ji hit. And they say, and people who have belief in it, those who are traveling in that highway, they invariably stop at that place, offer the prayers for their safe journey. This is the bullet. A small case is constructed and garlanded, and this is the tree which people worship. And he is the person, Rathorji, and that is his bike, RNJ 7773. There is no scientific explanation for this. Please don't ask. Then Kala Bhairav Temple, Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh. This is another very, very peculiar. The Kala Bhairav Temple is located in Ujjain city of Madhya Pradesh, located on the banks of Shipra River. Liquor is offered to the temple deity as prasad. You had it right. liquor is offered to the temple deity. The devotees hand over liquor bottles to the priest. He pours them into a saucer and then he offers it to the god. He tips it to the mouth of the lips of the god, the idol, and slightly tilts the saucer. And you can literally see the liquor vanishing. I mean, it is consumed by the god. So about 1/3 of it, he will return back to the devotee as prasad. Actually, similar thing happens in Andhra Pradesh, Guntur district, Mangalagiri village. There's a temple, actually it is Lakshmi Narasimha Swami temple, popularly known as Panakala Swami temple, where people offer panakam. Panakam means is nothing but good, jaggery mixed in water and is offered as prasad to the god. And when the priest, actually it is given in bottles at the temple, and when the priest pours this panakam in the mouth of the god, you can hear the gulping noise. When you gulp, there is small noise made in our throat. You can hear that noise. I am the eyewitness for that. I have gone there a number of times. And he takes exactly half. If you take 1 liter, he will consume 500 ml, and the balance is given back to us as prasad. Another strange thing in that temple is, normally when jaggery is left out, you find ants and houseflies. Normal. But even though hundreds of liters of, that is called panakam. Panakam is there. Now you don't find even a single ant or housefly in the entire temple complex. This is the different. There we offer panakam, here they are offering liquor. This is the temple photograph, and this is the prasad. You see agarbatti, flowers, and bottle of liquor. And this is the pujari offering. This is the mouth. He is offering it. So this is consumed by the god. So let us move to the next one. Sulabh International Museum of Toilets. Something strange. It is in New Delhi. Built in 1992 by Dindeshwar Pathak, a social activist, and titled as one of the weirdest museums in the world by Times Magazine. Exhibits from 50 countries, ranging from ardently carved toilets to painted urinals and related anecdotes. It brings the entire history of toilets from 3000 BC to 20th century, meticulously arranged in 3 sections: ancient, medieval, and modern. Very famous Bollywood movie, Toilet Ek Prem Katha, escalated the popularity of this rare museum. This is the gentleman who thought of it. This is Bindeshwar Pathak, and this is a glimpse of the museum. And you find more in this, more exhibits. This is the world's first 4-flush toilet of Harappan culture, 2500 BC. Then this is the throne-like chamber pot of French Emperor Louis XIV. Then this is a toilet disguised as a book. And of course, this potty plastic toilet from USA for camping and long drives. This is a portable toilet. Next, we'll move to Hazrat Qamar Ali Darwish Shrine, Shivpur. Shivpur is located at 180 kilometers from Mumbai on Mumbai-Pune-Bangalore highway. I'll tell you the story of it. There is a 90 kg stone lying in the shrine, and interestingly, 11 people with their index finger can lift it above their head by chanting the name of Hazrat Qamar Ali Darwish Shrine. Otherwise, it is not possible. And the number should be only 11, neither more nor less. That is the peculiarity there. You can see that's what I told you. This is that rock. And this is the rock they lifted above their head, holding it only with one finger. This is the story. Then Nidhivan temple, Vrindavan, UP. This is again another strange temple. Nidhavan temple is located in Vrindavan, Mathura district, UP, 14 kilometers from Mathura. Nidhavan means treasure of forest, that is greenery everywhere in the vicinity of the temple. Lord Krishna and Radha Rani are worshipped here. And after evening Arati, around 7 p.m., the temple is closed, locked, and it is believed that Lord Krishna and Radharani perform Ras Leela during the night. Those people who are residing close by, they confess they hear the sound of gungru music from the temple. But nobody is there to go and witness it because, again, the strong belief whoever has seen it will not be able to speak or hear any, or see anything further. That is the reason nobody dares to go to the temple during the night time. Another interesting thing is there are even birds and monkeys, they leave the premises at night. That is another peculiarity. The trees around the temple are all short. I'll show you the photograph, and hollow, and the roots, branches, and trunks are interwoven. They mean they're looped together. In the photographs, you will find it. This is the aerial view. These are the trees where I'm talking about, and they are known as, considered, or believed to be gopikas. This is the interlocking of the trees and their roots and the branches, and this is the temple. And after the evening arati, it seems the pujari leaves a pack of sweets and pan also in the bed there. And the next day morning, when they open the temple, they find everything is disturbed. That means somebody has used them. Somebody has taken the sweets, or the pans were missing, something like that. So these are the unique things or the unusual places in India. I thought I'll be able to complete the third part. I will skip it because I'm already another 10 minutes only are left. Thank you for the patient hearing.